If you thought I was getting off the Ross Geller hate train anytime soon, you're wrong. I live on that train. Matter of fact, I'm its captain. So today, let me lead you into the topic of why Mr. Geller is an absolute creep. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mind and More, where we talk about anything that comes to mind and more. What's on my mind today is how creepy Ross from Friends is. I'm not going to preface anything or offer any disclaimers, so let's get into it. The first show of creepy behavior that I'm going to talk about is in season 7, episode 19, the episode where Ross and Monica's cousin Cassie visits. Cassie is this gorgeous 25-year-old and she's visiting New York. She initially stays with Monica and Chandler, but she eventually has to leave because Chandler grew a crush on her and kept staring at her. Yeah, sure, Chandler could have tried to act more normal, but this girl is pretty, so I guess it's understandable. Anyway, when Cassie leaves Monica's place, she goes to stay with Ross, and this is where things get very strange. Soon as Ross opens up the door to Cassie, he's taken aback by her. Just in case you missed this the first time I said it, Cassie is Ross's cousin. 30-something-year-old Ross had a crush on his own cousin. A cousin that he grew up knowing. They even went on family vacations together. What excuse is there for this? The whole time she's there, he's acting uneasy. He can't even sit down next to her while she's eating because apparently to him, it's a turn on to see his own cousin eating a hot dog. If you think this can't get any weirder, wait for it. They decide to watch a movie. He's sitting with her by the couch in front of the TV, and guess what? He has to keep internally reminding himself that this girl is his cousin. He even says to himself that if Cassie knew what he was thinking, he'll think she was sick. Because you are sick, Ross. He starts justifying his feelings by saying that Cassie must want him too.
I want it. She wants it. I'm going in.
Do you know why he thinks that she wants him? Because she suggested having some wine and she dimmed the lights before putting on the movie. Movie theaters dim the lights and some of them sell alcohol. Does that mean they want to sleep with us? After convincing himself that she wants it too, he makes a move and tries to kiss her. This man tried to sleep with his own cousin while she was staying with him. She obviously rejects him and asks what he thinks he's doing. And do you know what his explanation was? He just responds by saying that he hasn't slept with anyone in a really long time. So Ross's solution to this perceived problem was to try and sleep with a family member. Please, what is wrong with this man? I'm going to leave this here because I'd prefer to just move on. The next creepy Ross moment I'll talk about is when he dated his own student. I'll have you know, this was against university policy and she was at least 10 years younger than him. She was fresh out of her teens and he was in his 30s. Yes, people can do whatever they want as long as it's not illegal, but sometimes you've got to ask yourself if it's truly right. At one point, when Ross was dating this girl, he invited her for drinks and she reminds him that she cannot drink yet. So this grown professor who lives in a city as large as New York could not find anyone else to date other than his student who he'd nicknamed Cutie McPretty. I can see why this girl might have had a crush on Ross. When you're younger, it can sound cool to date an older guy and you may not think too much of it. But Ross, who'd lived a whole lot more life more than her at this point, knew not to cross ethical lines with students, especially those who are that much younger. Oh, before I wrap this one up, do you know how he justified dating this girl? By using the good old, she's mature for her age.
Age difference might be a problem, but it wasn't. It wasn't at all. Elizabeth is very mature for her age.
The third instance of absolute creepiness is when Ross just assumed Rachel wanted to sleep with him because he'd noticed from his apartment that she was unclothed in her own apartment. I repeat, this girl was unclothed, minding her business in her apartment. She didn't even have the lights on while she was moving around, and Ross noticed this scene and took it as an invitation. The two were exes and not dating at the time, but Ross got up from his apartment and walked over to Rachel's and started taking off his clothes while giving a disclaimer about how he just wanted this to be physical, no feelings attached. What? She hasn't said anything about how she wants you. I can't even tell whether this is conceited or creepy. No, it's both. Anyway, Rachel corrected him that she was just enjoying the apartment since she had it all to herself that day, and that was that. Speaking of Rachel, in the episode with Ross's couch, there was another odd moment where Ross felt the need to tell a random storekeeper how many times him and Rachel had slept together. He thought to share that inappropriate piece of information because the storekeeper couldn't believe that he could land a girl like Rachel. So his insecure, creepy self thought the best comeback was to share intimate details that no one asked for with a stranger. Let's move on to another moment in season 1, episode 11, when Ross kissed his best friend Chandler's mom. I'm not sure how common this is, but as far as I know, most people don't kiss their friends' parents. In this one, both the mom and Ross were being mad weird. Ross and Chandler had been friends since college, so they'd been friends for a while now. Joey was the only one who saw them kiss, and you know how Ross explained it? He said she's not like other moms, she's sexy. So if your friends have attractive parents, you kiss them? I don't know, to me, my close friends' parents are just like my parents. So stuff like this just sounds very strange to me. So I'm sure you've heard enough to decide whether or not Ross is creepy. I say he is. The more I think about this guy, the more I find things that are wrong with him. Anyway, what's your take?